Nathan Brooks, a 39-year-old fashion CEO in Los Angeles, had everything except peace. One evening at a bustling night market, he spotted a boy selling handmade crafts. Blonde hair, blue eyes, a mirror image. Nathan froze. The boy, Owen, held up a silver locket and whispered, "It was my mom's." Nathan knew that locket. He had given it to his college love, a woman who vanished without a word. Shaken, Nathan followed his instincts. A hospital visit, new clothes, a DNA test. The results shattered him. Owen was his son, and he had grown up alone, surviving in alleyways while Nathan built an empire of fashion. Now, the CEO must face a truth no suit can hide. How do you make up for a decade of silence? Owen doesn't trust his sudden savior. He draws in corners, avoids eye contact, and asks one piercing question. Are you going to leave like everyone else? But a bond forms, stitched with fabric and forgiveness. Together, they design clothes, share stories, laugh again. When the media storms in, Nathan doesn't run. Instead, he stands tall, declaring at Fashion Week his new purpose, funding art schools for homeless children. And Owen? He smiles on stage, wearing a shirt he designed for his dad, stitched with a single word, family. Will Nathan truly earn Owen's heart? Subscribe to see this heartfelt story unfold. The night buzzed with voices, string lights, and laughter as Nathan Brooks stepped into the heart of Los Angeles' oldest night market. He wasn't there for the sights or the food. He was chasing inspiration. At 39, the golden-haired CEO of Brooks Atelier stood at the helm of one of the country's top fashion houses. But beneath the tailored suits and pressed smiles, he felt empty. He moved past stalls selling woven bracelets and incense, his sharp blue eyes scanning fabric, texture, people. Then he stopped. At a corner booth lit by a single bulb, a boy sat on a milk crate, his small hands threading beads onto string. His hoodie was worn, sleeves frayed. But what froze Nathan wasn't the clothes, it was the boy's face. Blonde hair, blue eyes, the same as his. Nathan blinked, then took a slow step forward. The boy looked up. He had a calm stillness, like someone used to being overlooked. "Want to buy one?" the boy asked. Nathan crouched, unsure what he was doing. "What are they for?" "To help me eat, and maybe save up for a sketchbook." Nathan's gaze dropped to the table. Among the crafts was a small silver locket. His breath caught. "Where did you get this?" The boy shrugged. "It was my mom's. She said it was special. She died 2 years ago." Nathan reached out, fingers brushing the cool metal. He knew this locket. He'd given it to Claire, his college love, on her birthday. His voice cracked. "What's your name?" "Owen," the boy said softly. Nathan sat down on the curb beside him, his expensive pants gathering dust. "How old are you, Owen?" 10. 10. Nathan's mind reeled. The last time he saw Claire had been 11 years ago. She left with no word, no contact. He'd looked, briefly, then buried it all. Owen tugged a string. "Do you like it?" Nathan nodded slowly, the street noise fading. "It's beautiful." For a moment, neither spoke. Then Owen added, almost shyly, "You look kinda like me." Nathan swallowed hard. "Yeah, I noticed that too." His phone vibrated. Emails, meetings, irrelevant. "Are you out here every night?" Owen shrugged again. "Mostly. Some nights I sleep at the church steps. Other times I sneak into the back of the bakery down there." Nathan's heart ached. "Is anyone taking care of you?" "Nope, just me." Nathan stood, the weight of this moment crashing down. "Come with me." Owen flinched. "Why?" "I want to get you food, and maybe help." Owen hesitated. Then, cautiously, he stood and followed. Nathan led him to a nearby cafe and ordered hot soup, sandwiches, and milk. Owen ate like he hadn't tasted real food in days. Nathan watched in silence. Then he pulled out his phone. "I'm going to have a doctor see you, just to make sure you're okay." Owen nodded between bites. "And," Nathan continued, quieter now, "I want to run a DNA test." Owen stopped chewing. "Why?" Nathan's voice trembled. "Because I think I might be your father." The cafe lights dimmed behind them as Owen stared, the spoon in his hand frozen midair. "Do you remember your mom's name?" Nathan asked. "Claire," Owen whispered. "Claire Monroe." Nathan sat back, overwhelmed. It was her. A car pulled up. His driver. Owen glanced nervously. Nathan kneeled in front of him. "You don't have to decide now, but I need to know the truth. And if I'm right, I want to make things right." Owen looked away. "People say that, but they always leave." Nathan reached into his pocket and pulled out the locket. "Not this time." He gently placed the locket back into Owen's hands. One boy, one piece of silver, and a second chance neither of them saw coming. The next morning, Nathan stood by the window of his penthouse, the city stretching endlessly below. In his hand, he held the silver locket, no longer a keepsake, but a question. He hadn't slept. Downstairs, a private car waited. Not his usual polished SUV, but a black sedan from the foundation wing he rarely used. Nathan had already called his assistant, canceled meetings, and told his legal team to be on standby. He had one priority now. At precisely 10 a.m., the car stopped beside a pop-up stall just outside the night market gates. Owen was there, same hoodie, same quiet gaze, threading beads into patterns. Nathan stepped out, carrying a paper bag of breakfast and a new hoodie tucked under his arm. Owen looked up, wary. "I didn't think you'd come back," he said flatly. "I said I would," Nathan replied, sitting beside him again. "I brought you this." He handed over the bag. Owen opened it slowly, the scent of warm croissants and eggs rising into the air. "Real food again?" "And a new hoodie," Nathan added. "Your size." Owen touched it gently but didn't put it on. "Why are you helping me?" Nathan hesitated. "Because I think I missed 10 years of being your dad." Silence stretched between them. Then Owen said softly, "People say things. They don't stay." Nathan reached into his coat and pulled out a small sketch pad. "I bought this too. You said you wanted a place to draw." Owen took it with trembling hands. The symbol was there. His hands, calloused from string and glue, now cradling something delicate. He opened it and started sketching, eyes flicking from the locket around his neck to the man sitting quietly beside him. Nathan waited. "You still want that test?" Owen asked, voice barely above a whisper. "I do." "Okay." That one word landed heavy, like a hinge opening a locked door. Later that afternoon, in a quiet medical office tucked near Westlake, Nathan signed the DNA consent papers while Owen sat across from him, knees swinging off the exam table. "Will it hurt?" "Just a swab," Nathan reassured him. "No needles." The nurse smiled gently and walked them through the process. It was over in minutes. Back in the waiting room, Owen didn't speak. He just flipped open the sketchbook and started drawing again. Nathan watched, heart thudding. The boy drew fast. Bold lines, soft shading. A face was forming. Nathan's. Beside it, a smaller version. Owen, smiling. "You're good," Nathan murmured. "I draw what I want to happen," Owen replied, "not what's real." Nathan blinked, caught off guard. When the driver dropped them off outside a clothing boutique that evening, Owen hesitated. "I don't need new stuff," he muttered. "I know," Nathan said, "but I want you to have it." Inside, Owen's eyes scanned the racks, overwhelmed. Nathan let him pick one thing. The boy chose a plain white hoodie with a stitched feather on the sleeve. "What made you choose that?" Nathan asked. Owen shrugged. "It's light, like it can fly." They walked out in silence, Owen wearing the new hoodie, his sketch pad clutched in one hand, the locket glinting at his neck. As the sun dipped behind the skyline, Nathan pulled out his phone and called a lawyer. "I need full legal support," he said. "I want to protect this boy, no matter what." That night, as Nathan tucked Owen into a hotel room beside his own, modest, not overwhelming, Owen asked, "If the test says you're not my dad, will you still help me?" Nathan didn't flinch. "I'll still be here, Owen. That's a promise." Owen pulled the sketch pad under the covers like a shield. "Okay," he whispered, "then maybe I'll believe you tomorrow." Outside the window, the city lights blinked like distant stars, and inside that room, the bond between two strangers had begun to hold. 3 days later, Nathan sat alone in a quiet office, the DNA report folded in his trembling hands. Outside, morning traffic passed by in a blur. The paper was heavy with truth, positive. Owen was his son. He looked up as the door opened. Owen entered, clutching his sketch pad, still wearing the feathered hoodie. Nathan stood. "The results are back," and Sue blinked. "And?" Nathan's voice caught, but he steadied it. "You're mine, Owen. You're my son." Owen stared. He didn't smile. He didn't cry. He just looked down and whispered, "Then where were you?" The question hit harder than any DNA result. "I didn't know," Nathan said, kneeling down. "I swear to you, if I had—" "You still weren't there." Nathan nodded slowly. "You're right." Silence filled the space between them. Owen pulled out a drawing from his sketchbook. 2 stick figures, one tall, one small, standing under an umbrella. Above them, the words, "Don't leave." Nathan's hand shook as he took it. "I won't," he said. "Not ever again." That afternoon, they walked through a small public park, the trees rustling overhead. Nathan had called his lawyer earlier and started guardianship paperwork, but legal steps couldn't repair emotional gaps. Owen kicked a rock along the path. "My mom never told me who you were. She just said, 'You were busy.'" Nathan exhaled. "She probably thought I wouldn't care. She said you were rich. Too rich to want a kid." The words stung, but Nathan didn't flinch. "That was never true." They sat on a bench. Owen pulled his hoodie tighter. Nathan leaned forward. "What do you remember most about her?" "Her laugh," Owen said softly, "and how she used to draw stars on my lunch napkins." A pause. Then Owen added, "She died in a shelter. They said it was pneumonia." Nathan stared ahead, his fists clenched. "I'm so sorry, Owen." A soft breeze passed, carrying dust and flower petals. Owen looked up. "Do you think she hated you?" Nathan turned to him. "No, I think she was scared, maybe ashamed, and maybe she thought staying silent was her way of protecting both of us." Owen was quiet for a long time. Then he reached into his backpack and pulled out the silver locket. "She told me to keep this close. I never opened it until last night." Nathan held out his hand. "May I see it?" Owen nodded. Inside the locket was a tiny, folded photo. Nathan opened it with care. It was Claire, younger, glowing, holding a baby wrapped in blue. Owen. Nathan's fingers pressed the picture gently, his chest tightening. He looked up. "We're going to do this right. No more guessing. No more what-ifs." That evening, Nathan took Owen to his penthouse. The staff had prepped a room with art supplies and a small desk. "This is your space," Nathan said. "However you want it." Owen walked in slowly. He traced a finger over the colored pencils, then looked at a framed sketch Nathan had saved from that first day in the cafe. "You kept this?" "I kept everything," Nathan replied. Owen sat down at the desk and began drawing, quiet, focused. Nathan stood at the doorway, watching. After a while, Owen held up a fresh sketch. It showed a man and a boy, side by side, both holding sewing needles. Owen smiled faintly. "Think we could make stuff together?" Nathan stepped inside, his voice steady. "I'd like nothing more." From the hallway, the city lights flickered through the tall windows. Inside, a boy began to believe he had a place, and a man finally understood what legacy really meant. The next morning, sunlight spilled across Owen's sketch pad, pages open on the windowsill. He was already awake, curled on the rug, pencil in hand, drawing a storefront window filled with handmade shirts. His fingers moved fast, like he was afraid the image would disappear if he stopped. Nathan stood at the doorway, watching. "Sleep okay?" he asked gently. Owen nodded, eyes still on the page. "I had a dream. My mom was watching us. She didn't say anything, just smiled." Nathan stepped closer. "She'd be proud of you." Owen paused. "Do you think she knew you'd come back?" "I think she hoped I would," Nathan said, voice thick. They ate breakfast together. Toast, eggs, strawberries. Nathan noticed Owen picked around the fruit. "No strawberries?" "They remind me of the shelter," Owen murmured. "Someone brought some once, but they were all bruised." Nathan didn't push. He just slid the bowl aside. By noon, they were in his office building. Nathan had insisted Owen come along, promising he wouldn't have to talk to anyone, just observe. But as soon as they stepped into the high-rise lobby, Owen froze. The glass, the polished floor, the strangers in suits, it all felt too big. "I don't belong here," he whispered. Nathan knelt beside him. "You belong with me, wherever I am." They took the elevator in silence. Inside Nathan's office, Owen sat at a small side desk. He pulled out his sketch pad again, working on a new idea. A jacket with hidden messages sewn into the seams. Nathan watched from across the room, struggling to focus on emails. His phone buzzed with notifications, headlines. Someone had spotted him with Owen the day before. The media was starting to ask questions. He turned off the screen. Owen looked up. "You okay?" Nathan forced a smile. "Just noise." That afternoon, they visited a quiet tailor's workshop Nathan often used. Mr. Aguilar, the elderly tailor, looked up in surprise. "You brought company today." Nathan placed a hand on Owen's shoulder. "This is Owen. He's got an eye for design." Owen blushed. "I just draw stuff." "Then you're already ahead of most people," Mr. Aguilar said, handing him a piece of chalk. "Show me." Owen knelt near a piece of navy fabric stretched across a table. He began to sketch a collar, then cuffs, adding bold lines for hidden pockets. Mr. Aguilar watched, impressed. "You have your father's hands." Nathan flinched slightly. Owen glanced at him. "Did he always design?" Nathan cleared his throat. "I was more of a strategist, but I used to sketch in the margins of my notebooks." Owen smiled. "Maybe it runs in the blood." Back at the penthouse, the mood shifted. Nathan was on a video call with his legal team when he heard a crash. He rushed into Owen's room. The sketch pad was torn, pencils scattered. Owen stood frozen, eyes wet. "I'm sorry," he said. "I messed up." Nathan stepped inside slowly. "What happened?" "I don't know," Owen cried. "I just got scared. What if you change your mind? What if I ruin everything?" Nathan knelt beside him, voice steady. "Hey, I'm not going anywhere." Owen's voice broke. "People say that. Then they disappear." Nathan reached into his coat pocket and pulled out the small photo from the locket. Claire holding baby Owen. "I missed the beginning of your story," he said, "but I want to be part of everything from now on, even the hard days." Owen wiped his face. "You really mean it?" Nathan nodded. "Yes, and I'll prove it." Later that night, Nathan slipped into his study and wrote a letter to Claire, one he never got to send. He folded it and tucked it beside the photo in the locket. Outside Owen's door, he paused. The boy was asleep, one arm around his sketch pad like a lifeline. Nathan stepped closer and whispered, "You're not alone anymore." The locket glinted faintly on the desk. A mother's memory, a father's vow, and a boy slowly learning to trust. A week later, Nathan stood outside the courthouse, one hand gripping a folder, the other clenched in his coat pocket. A gray sky loomed above, mirroring the storm he felt inside. He'd filed for legal guardianship. It wasn't just about paperwork, it was about protecting Owen from slipping through the cracks again. Inside, a judge sat behind a heavy desk, glasses perched low. Nathan spoke calmly, laying out Owen's story. The DNA test, his mother's passing, the nights spent selling crafts to survive. When it was Owen's turn, he sat small in the chair, knees barely reaching the floor. "Do you feel safe with Mr. Brooks?" the judge asked. Owen looked at Nathan, then back at the judge. "He shows up. That was all, but it was enough." Afterward, in the hallway, Nathan dropped to one knee beside Owen. "You did great," he said. Owen nodded, then pulled something from his backpack. A drawing. It showed a courthouse, two figures walking down the steps, hand in hand. At the top, in bold block letters, it said, "Together now." Nathan tucked it carefully into his folder. "You keep drawing what matters most, don't you?" Owen grinned. "It helps me remember what's real." That afternoon, Nathan brought him to a private hospital for a full checkup. Blood work, vision, nutrition. The doctor walked in after the tests, flipping through a chart. "He's resilient, but malnourished. Mild anemia, likely from extended periods without stable meals." Nathan nodded grimly. "What do we need to do? High-protein diet, regular sleep, stability." Owen sat quietly, sketching on the exam table paper, a pair of sneakers with wings. Later, they stopped at a boutique grocery store. Nathan loaded the cart with everything the doctor suggested: fresh greens, lean meats, fruit. Owen tossed in a bag of marshmallows. Nathan raised a brow. "For emergencies," Owen said with a crooked smile. At home, they cooked together. Nathan let Owen season the chicken, slice cucumbers, and toast the bread. By dinner's end, Owen said softly, "Feels like a real house now." Nathan swallowed the lump in his throat. "That's because you're here." After dinner, Owen worked on a new sketch. A full clothing line, designed for kids like him. Tough fabric, warm linings, hidden notes sewn inside. Nathan watched from the doorway. "You're serious about this, aren't you?" Owen shrugged. If clothes could talk, they'd say, "Keep going." The next day, Nathan met with his legal team again. "I want to start a fund," he said, "for kids in the system. Shelter-to-school pipeline, design therapy, art grants." His attorney blinked. "This isn't small, Nathan." "It shouldn't be," Nathan replied. "This is for Owen, and every kid like him." Back at home, Owen opened the fridge, saw it full, and stared for a moment before shutting it again. "You all right?" Nathan asked. I've never seen this much food that wasn't locked up." Nathan knelt and looked him in the eye. "This house, everything in it, is yours too. You don't have to ask. You don't have to earn it." Owen looked down. "That's hard to believe." Nathan reached into a drawer and pulled out a new sketchbook, bound in leather. On the cover, his initials were stamped in gold. "These pages are for dreams," Nathan said. "Let's fill them." Owen opened to the first page and drew two words in bold strokes. "Still here." That night, Nathan found Owen asleep at the desk, a pencil still in his hand, sketches of jackets and shoes scattered around him. He gently lifted the boy and tucked him into bed. Then he pinned the "Together Now" drawing to the fridge with a magnet shaped like a star. Because even in the quiet moments, Owen's voice was loudest on paper. And Nathan had no intention of missing another word. Nathan sat in his home office, fingers drumming the edge of a manila folder. The file had just arrived from the investigator, Claire's full case history. He opened it slowly, the weight of the unknown thick in the air. Inside were photos, documents, and a final medical report. Claire Monroe died in a downtown shelter. No emergency contact. No known family. One note stood out, a handwritten entry by a shelter nurse. Mother refused to disclose the father's identity, said he was long gone and wouldn't care. Nathan closed his eyes. She'd protected him, even when she didn't believe he deserved it. Across the hall, Owen hummed softly as he worked on a design at the dining table, fabric scraps, thread, and pencils scattered around him. Nathan walked over and sat down. "You okay with me asking more about your mom?" Owen nodded. "Sure. Just not the sad parts." Nathan smiled gently. "Deal." "Why?" Owen asked, glancing up. "You miss her?" "I think I missed the chance to say everything I didn't." Owen was quiet, then reached into his sketchbook. He flipped to a page. "I drew her yesterday." It was a soft pencil portrait. Claire smiling, hair pulled back, holding a baby wrapped in a blanket. Nathan stared at it, eyes wet. "You captured her spirit. She'd be proud of you, Owen." Owen looked down. "She didn't talk about you much, just once. When I asked if I had a dad, she said, 'Yes, but he lives in another world.'" Nathan took a breath. "She wasn't wrong, but I want to bring you into mine now." That night, as the city lights flickered outside, Nathan met with his attorney on a video call. "We've secured guardianship," the lawyer said, "but Owen's birth records list no father. We can amend that if you want legal paternity declared." "Do it," Nathan said. "And I want his last name changed to Brooks. Only if he wants it, though." He closed the laptop and found Owen asleep on the couch, sketchbook open beside him. The next morning, they visited the shelter where Claire had passed. The old brick building was quiet, tucked between two alleys. A woman at the front desk glanced up. "You're Nathan Brooks." He nodded. "Claire Monroe stayed here. She was Owen's mom." The woman's face softened. "She was kind, quiet. She used to read to the little kids." Owen looked around, eyes wide. "This is where we lived for a while." They stepped into a common room, old couches, faded curtains. Owen wandered to a shelf of books, fingers running along the spines. Nathan stayed near the door, staring at the worn linoleum floor. "She was sick for weeks," the woman continued. "Didn't want to go to the hospital. Said she needed to stay near her son. She was scared someone might take him away." Nathan's throat tightened. "She left this in her locker," the woman added, handing over a small envelope. "Said to give it to the boy when he was old enough." Owen took it, opened it slowly. Inside was a folded note, written in soft handwriting. "Owen, you are everything good in this world. If life gets hard, hold on to your drawings. They'll guide you home. Love, Mom." Owen's hands shook. She really did love me. Nathan knelt beside him, more than anything. Back home, Owen pinned the note beside his bed, just under his newest sketch, a jacket with a hidden message stitched beneath the collar. "You are not alone." That night, he showed it to Nathan. "I want this to be my first real piece," he said. "Can we make it?" Nathan smiled. "Let's do it together." They worked side by side under soft lights, cutting fabric, threading needles. A father learning the language of cloth, a son stitching his past into something new. And between them, trust, slowly sewn into every seam. Owen stood by the window of Nathan's penthouse, watching the skyline shimmer in the late afternoon sun. In his hands he held the nearly finished jacket, the one with "You Are Not Alone" stitched beneath the collar. The fabric still smelled like chalk and thread wax. Nathan entered with 2 cups of hot cocoa, setting one down beside Owen's sketch pad. "I've got news," Nathan said, sitting across from him. "Your jacket. It's going to be part of our fall collection." Owen's eyes widened. "You're serious?" "Completely," Nathan smiled. "But only if you're ready." Owen looked down at the jacket. "I want people to wear something that makes them feel safe." Nathan nodded. "Then let's show the world what you've built." The next few days were a blur. The design team came in to review Owen's sketches. Seamstresses stitched late into the night. Owen hovered around them, fascinated. "This one needs softer lining," he told one of them, pointing to a seam. "Kids like me, some of us sleep in our clothes." The room fell quiet. Then the seamstress nodded. "You're right." But not everyone was impressed. At a board meeting, Nathan faced pushback. "This media attention around the boy, it's off-brand," one executive said. "Our clientele expect luxury, not a charity story." Nathan stared at him. "This isn't charity. It's humanity." Another board member spoke up. "Why not keep the project anonymous? Let the boy's work shine without attaching your name to it." Nathan stood. "Because his name is part of the work. His story is stitched into every piece, and I won't let you erase him." He walked out without another word. Back home, he told Owen what happened. "They don't want people to know about me, huh?" Owen asked, voice quiet. Nathan knelt beside him. "They don't understand yet, but they will." That night, Owen drew something new. A crowd of people in designer clothes, but all of them were barefoot. Beneath the picture, he wrote, "Even the rich started with nothing." He left the drawing on Nathan's desk. The next morning, Nathan tucked it into his briefcase and brought it to a press meeting. When the cameras started rolling, he didn't read from the teleprompter. "I want to introduce someone," Nathan said, turning to the side. "This is Owen, my son, and the artist behind our newest line." Owen stepped up slowly, jacket in hand. "I used to live on the street," he said softly. "I made bracelets to buy food. Now I make jackets that say things I couldn't." He held up the collar. "This one says, 'You are not alone,' because sometimes that's all we need to hear." The room fell silent. Nathan stepped back up. "This isn't about fashion. It's about voice. And every stitch in that jacket says he's here. He matters." Later that day, the footage went viral. People weren't just buying the jacket. They were sharing their own stories. Messages poured in. Former foster kids, shelter volunteers, artists who once had nothing. At home, Owen sat cross-legged on the rug, sketch pad in his lap. "People really listened," he said. "They really saw me." Nathan sat beside him. "And you showed them who you are." Owen flipped to a new page and started drawing a room full of kids sewing together, laughing, learning. At the top, he wrote, "Design for Change." Nathan smiled. "Is that your next project?" Owen nodded. "I want kids like me to have a place to dream, too." Nathan reached for the drawing, heart full. "Then we'll build it, together." Outside, the city glowed, and inside, a father and son stitched the world they wished they'd had, one seam, one story, one symbol of belonging at a time. Rain tapped gently against the penthouse windows as Owen sat at the kitchen counter, sketching on a cereal box. The designer notebook Nathan gave him sat untouched on the shelf. Nathan entered, umbrella dripping, and set down a bag of pastries. "You didn't use the sketchbook?" he asked gently. Owen shrugged. "I didn't want to ruin the good one." Nathan walked over, took the cereal box, and looked at the sketch. Tiny houses stitched into a jacket sleeve. "Nothing you draw could ruin anything," he said. "The sketchbook is yours. Use it like you mean it." Owen looked down. "It still feels like this could all vanish." Nathan sat beside him. "You're safe now, but it's okay to be scared. We'll work through it, one day at a time." That weekend, Nathan canceled all meetings and took Owen to the local art school for a tour. The campus was small, filled with color and movement. Students painting on easels, clay spinning on wheels, music drifting down the hall. In one room, a teacher named Ms. Callahan crouched beside Owen. "What do you love most about drawing?" Owen didn't hesitate. "It makes me feel like I'm in control of something." She nodded. "That's the start of great art." By Monday, Owen was enrolled in weekend classes, art fundamentals, textile design, and illustration. But change came with growing pains. Later that week, Nathan walked into Owen's room and found him curled up on the rug, sketchbook closed, tears streaking his cheeks. Nathan knelt beside him. "Talk to me." "I don't belong at that school," Owen said. "They have families who've always supported them. I had no one. I feel like an outsider pretending to fit in." Nathan exhaled slowly. "You don't have to pretend with me. I know what it's like to feel out of place, even in boardrooms." Owen's voice cracked. "What if I mess this up?" Nathan placed a hand on his shoulder. "You don't have to be perfect. Just be honest and show up." That night, Nathan found one of Owen's drawings slipped under his bedroom door. It showed a boy with angel wings sitting on the roof of a house with a cracked chimney. At the bottom it said, "Trying to feel at home." Nathan pinned it beside the refrigerator next to the courthouse drawing. Later, Nathan met with the school principal. "I want to fund a scholarship," he said, "for kids like Owen. Talented, but overlooked." The principal smiled. "He's already inspired half our class." Still, balancing fatherhood with CEO duties grew harder. Nathan returned home late one night to find Owen asleep on the couch, food untouched. The next morning, over toast and orange juice, Owen asked quietly, "Are you going to get too busy for me?" Nathan froze. "Never." Owen stared at his plate. "I know you have a company, important people. What if I don't fit in that world?" Nathan leaned in. "You're the only thing that makes that world make sense now." To prove it, he did something he hadn't done in years. Took a week off. No emails, no meetings, just him and Owen. They visited thrift shops for fabric, stitched jackets together on the floor, and turned the guest room into a mini studio. At the end of the week, Owen showed Nathan a finished piece, a jacket lined with soft fleece, tiny hand-drawn constellations sewn inside. "It's for kids who feel lost," he said, "so they can carry the stars with them." Nathan blinked back emotion. "It's beautiful," Owen smiled. "It's the first one I finished without feeling afraid." Outside, the storm had passed. And inside, a boy no longer wondered if he belonged. He was building his future, one thread, one page, one stitched star at a time. The studio light buzzed softly overhead as Owen threaded a needle through navy fabric. The jacket he'd designed was nearly complete, its lining stitched with constellations, the word hope hidden in the stars. Nathan leaned against the doorway, coffee in hand, watching the boy work. "You're getting faster," he said. Owen grinned. "You think this one could be part of the launch?" Nathan nodded. "Definitely. We'll call it the Orion piece. It carries light through the dark." That afternoon, Nathan brought Owen to the design floor of Brooks' atelier. Staff bustled with fabric swatches, mood boards, and garment samples. But when Owen stepped in, the motion stopped. Whispers began. "Is that the kid?" someone murmured. Nathan kept his hand steady on Owen's back. One assistant, Clara, smiled and waved him over. "Come look," she said. "We used your sketch as the base pattern." Owen stepped forward. On the mannequin stood a version of his jacket, adjusted slightly for mass production, but his vision remained. He ran his hand over the seam. "It's real." Nathan knelt beside him. "And it's just the beginning." But not everyone was celebrating. Later, in a private meeting, Nathan's head of marketing, Joel, pulled him aside. "This kid's story. Some think it's too emotional. We're selling fashion, not therapy." Nathan stared him down. "This is fashion. Real, raw, and rooted in truth." Joel crossed his arms. "The investors are nervous." Nathan's jaw tightened. "Then let them be. I'm not editing my son out of my life." Back home, Nathan sat Owen down. "I want to give you your own space to create," he said. "We're building a room just for you. Workbench, chalkboard walls, sewing machine." Owen's eyes lit up. "Like a real studio?" "A real studio," Nathan confirmed. "It'll be yours." Days passed in a flurry of preparation. Construction teams converted the spare room. Owen picked out fabric bins, colored thread, and hung his drawings on the walls like gallery pieces. On the first night in the new space, Owen pulled Nathan in. "Look what I made, Dad." It was a miniature jacket, sewn from scrap denim and lined with felt. On the inside tag, he'd written one word in thread, "Home." Nathan held it like it was made of gold. That same week, Nathan enrolled Owen in a private arts academy part-time. Small classes, project-based learning. But the first morning drop-off brought tension. Owen stood frozen on the school steps, gripping his backpack. "I don't know anyone here," he said. "What if they ask where I'm from?" Nathan crouched beside him. "Then you tell them you're an artist, and if they want the rest of the story, you decide when to share it." Owen bit his lip. "Will you be here after?" "I'll be right outside," Nathan promised. He waited all day in the parking lot, laptop on his lap, pretending to work but watching the door. When Owen came out, he was smiling. "I showed them the Orion jacket," he said. "They said it felt like wearing courage." That night, Nathan placed a small frame beside Owen's bed. Inside it was the word "home," stitched from that tiny denim jacket. A reminder that he belonged, that he was believed in, that he was building something no investor could measure. Love, threaded through fabric. One sketch at a time. The morning light filtered through the studio blinds as Owen sat cross-legged on the hardwood floor, sketchbook balanced on his knees. His fingers smudged with graphite, he shaded the curve of a new collar design. Across the room, Nathan reviewed Fashion Week prep documents. The Brooks Atelier Fall Showcase was 3 weeks away, and Owen's jacket, the Orion piece, was set to debut. But something had shifted. Owen barely touched his breakfast. He hadn't mentioned art class in 2 days. Nathan watched him silently, waiting for the right moment. Finally, he sat down beside him. "Hey," Nathan said gently, "you've been quiet lately." Owen kept sketching. "I'm just thinking." "About what?" A long pause. Then Owen whispered, "What if I mess up? What if they hate my work? I still feel like I don't belong in that world." Nathan placed a hand on his shoulder. "You don't have to belong to their world. We're building one together, remember?" Owen nodded slowly but didn't smile. That night, Nathan returned home late after a board meeting. He stepped into the studio and found Owen asleep on the floor, wrapped in a blanket, a crumpled drawing under his hand. He unfolded it. It was a sketch of a boy walking away from a spotlight, shadow long and heavy behind him. At the bottom, "Don't forget who you are." Nathan quietly placed the sketch on the fridge beside the courthouse drawing and the denim home tag. The next morning, Owen stood by the elevator in a new jacket Nathan had made, one that matched his own. Do I have to go to the party tonight? Owen asked. All those people, they look at me like I'm someone I'm not. Nathan crouched to meet his eyes. You don't owe them anything, but you do owe yourself the chance to shine. At the gala that night, the lights shimmered across the glass ballroom. Celebrities, designers, photographers, all buzzed about the show. Owen stayed close to Nathan, hands deep in his jacket pockets. Can we go home soon? He whispered. Nathan was about to answer when a woman approached, tall, sharp, with a clipboard. You're Owen? She asked. He nodded. We're showcasing your design next. You ready? Owen blinked. Do I have to walk with it? She smiled. Only if you want to. He looked at Nathan. Do I? Nathan knelt beside him. Only if it feels true. You've already done the hardest part. You created something from nothing. Owen thought for a moment, then he nodded. Okay, I'll do it. Minutes later, the lights dimmed. Music rose, and Owen stepped onto the runway, walking behind a model wearing the Orion piece. The crowd quieted. Camera flashes popped. Owen didn't wave, didn't smile. He just walked tall, hands steady, head high. And when he reached the end, he turned around, lifted the jacket's collar, and revealed the stitched message, You are not alone. The room exhaled as one. Backstage, Owen rushed into Nathan's arms. I did it, he said, breathless. I really did it. Nathan held him close. You were brilliant. Later that night, back in the studio, Owen taped a new drawing on the wall. It was the same boy from before, but this time he stood in the spotlight. His shadow was gone. At the top, in clean block letters, he'd written, I belong. Nathan looked at it, eyes full. That's the truth, he said, and don't let anyone take it from you. Outside, the city pulsed with life. And inside, the boy who once sold bracelets to survive had just lit up a runway. Not for fame, but for the chance to feel seen. Nathan flipped on the studio lights, the room humming with sewing machines and the faint scent of wool. An empty lot across the street glowed orange in the dusk. Ready to start? Nathan asked, pulling a bolt of midnight blue fabric onto the cutting table. Owen nodded, sliding his sketchbook forward. I want to try that asymmetrical sleeve you showed me. Nathan studied the drawing. Bold choice. Reminds me of that sketch you did of the lighthouse. He tapped the paper gently. Your symbol of hope. Owen smiled, tracing the lighthouse in the corner of his page. Yeah, it guided Mom and me. Nathan laid the fabric flat. Then let's make you something that guides you too. They worked side by side. Nathan measured Owen's arm, then marked the fabric. Owen snipped thread at the serger, his small hands steady. Their conversation wove between stitches and stories. Do you remember when I almost quit art class? Owen asked, eyes on the sleeve pattern. Nathan nodded. You were frustrated. Thought nobody cared. Owen paused, holding the scissors. I was scared you'd go back to your old life. Nathan folded the sleeve over his arm. I'm here now, Owen. I'm not going anywhere. A sudden knock at the door startled them. Nathan glanced at the clock. That's our lawyer. Owen's smile faded. He bit his lip. Nathan opened the door. A stern woman in a suit stepped in. Nathan Brooks, I need to discuss custody documents. Nathan closed the door. Owen, will you give me a moment? Owen watched as Nathan's face tightened. The lawyer's low voice drifted through the thin wall. Owen's grip on his sketchbook tightened. Minutes later, Nathan re-entered. Everything's in order. We'll have the hearing next week. Owen looked down. Does that mean I could go back to my old place? Nathan shook his head firmly. No, I'm fighting to keep you with me. He sat beside Owen. I want you here, always. Owen's eyes flicked to the half-finished sleeve. Can we finish? Nathan smiled, relief softening his features. Absolutely. They dove back into work. Nathan demonstrated a new stitching technique, his fingers guiding Owen's. Owen giggled when the needle pricked his fingertip. Ouch. Sorry, Nathan said, pressing an ice cube to Owen's finger. I should have warned you. Owen winced, then touched Nathan's hand. It's okay, Dad. Nathan froze, chest tightening. Their eyes met. I mean it, Owen whispered. You're my dad now. Nathan swallowed hard. He closed the distance, wrapping Owen in a hug that made the sewing machines fade away. When he let go, he tapped the sketchbook. Let's use your lighthouse motif on this jacket. A beacon of trust. Owen beamed and sketched a small lighthouse on the pocket. By midnight, the sleeve was attached. Nathan held it up. Under the harsh overhead light, the fabric gleamed. It fits perfectly, he said softly. Owen tried it on, twirling in front of the mirror. Look what I made, Dad. Nathan's eyes glistened. I'm so proud. Over the next days, they built the rest of the jacket together. Every panel stitched, every button sewn, carried the mark of their bond. On the morning of the custody hearing, Owen found Nathan packing his briefcase in the apartment's empty lot kitchen. Good luck, Owen said, holding the sketchbook with the first lighthouse drawing taped inside. Nathan kissed his forehead. I'll see you soon. In court, Nathan stood strong, jacket in hand. The judge studied the design, noting the lighthouse patch. This, Nathan said, voice steady, symbolizes the safe harbor I promised my son. Owen watched from the gallery, gripping the sketchbook. When the verdict came, Nathan's triumph was Owen's victory too. Later, at home, Owen taped a new drawing above the empty lot window, a lighthouse shining over two figures holding hands. Nathan knelt before it, eyes full of hope. That's us. Owen nodded. We found each other. Nathan's phone buzzed above the sizzle of pancakes in the small kitchen, sunlight slanting through dusty blinds. Dad, what's that noise? Owen asked, stacking syrup-soaked slices on his plate. Nathan swiped his screen. Headlines screamed, CEO, turned designer, Dad. Fashion world shocked by unexpected model son. Photos showed Nathan and Owen at the lot. He exhaled. It went viral overnight. Owen's eyes widened. Is that bad? Nathan reached across the table. It's complicated. Some people think this is a stunt. Owen frowned and tapped his drawing of the lighthouse taped to the fridge. I drew our hope. Nathan smiled sadly. I know. Let's hold on to it. He kissed Owen's forehead. I have to meet a client. They're worried this is a publicity gimmick. The lobby of Brooks Fashion was a hive of chrome and mirrors. Assistants scurried with coffee. Posters of the upcoming collection lined the walls. Nathan entered, phone pressed to his ear. Stella, any updates? He murmured. A sharp voice cut through. Mr. Brooks, the Johnson account says they're reconsidering. A tall executive in black suit stepped forward. They want proven stability, not headlines. Nathan nodded. Understood. I'll be right in. He ended the call. The executive, Miss Pierce, motioned to a private boardroom. Glass walls framed the city skyline. Owen's denim jacket hung on the back of Nathan's chair. Miss Pierce leaned forward. Our couture clients expect discretion. This viral story could undermine the brand's exclusivity. Nathan folded his hands. I built this company on pushing boundaries. Owen brings authenticity. Our next runway will feature his design. Pierce's eyes flicked to the sketchbook on the table. A child's sketchbook? Nathan tapped the cover, the lighthouse drawing peeking from within. That sketch saved me. It's our symbol of trust. We'll integrate it into the new line. A tense silence. Then Pierce sighed. If you can deliver that vision, we'll stay. Nathan exhaled. Give me 1 week. He stepped into the boardroom hallway and dialed Owen's tutor. Push the art class session. We need another drawing. At home that evening, Owen hovered over the lot's makeshift table, watercolor in hand. Nathan watched, exhausted but determined. "Make the beacon bigger," Nathan said softly. Owen nodded, yellow light spreading across the page. When dawn broke, Nathan streamlined the infinity collection. Sketches merged sleek lapels with Owen's lighthouse emblem. He tested fabrics, registered stitches, and rehearsed his pitch. A week later, the annual Brooks Fashion Show transformed the empty lot into a runway. Spotlight beams cut through twilight. Warehouse walls dripped ivy and fairy lights. A single pedestal held Owen's original drawing in an acrylic frame, glowing like a relic. Backstage, Nathan steadied his tie. Models paced in avant-garde jackets adorned with the lighthouse motif. Cameras clicked and smartphones glowed. Owen stood beside Nathan, clutching his sketchbook. "Are you nervous?" he whispered. Nathan ruffled Owen's hair. "Excited." The show began. Music pulsed as the first model glided forward, the lighthouse stitched in luminous thread on the back of her jacket. The crowd gasped, phones raised. Social media buzzed with praise. Halfway through, Nathan spotted Ms. Pierce in the front row, arms folded. He caught her eye and nodded. She leaned forward, a small smile breaking. The grand finale featured a young model resembling Owen, carrying the framed drawing. Nathan emerged in a sleek suit, lifting Owen onto his shoulders. Spotlight lit the father-son duo. Nathan raised Owen's hand. Owen waved shyly. "Look, Dad," he said, eyes shining. "They all see our lighthouse." Nathan's throat tightened. "We did it together." After the show, reporters surrounded Nathan outside the lot, flashing bulbs, rapid-fire questions. "Mr. Brooks, is this a marketing ploy?" Nathan held up the sketchbook. "This is my son's hope. I didn't stage it. He found me when I was lost." He opened to the lighthouse page. "This is real." A pause, then applause. Cameras lowered. That night, back at the apartment, Nathan and Owen sat on the windowsill, city lights below. Owen traced the lighthouse on his sketchbook. "Did we prove it?" Nathan hugged him tight. "Yes, we proved that a family's bond can guide a bite company and guide me home." Owen nestled into Nathan's side. "I'm proud of us." Nathan kissed his head. The lighthouse drawing glowed softly in the moonlight, a beacon of trust, redemption, and the promise that neither of them would ever be lost again. The grand hall buzzed with anticipation as spotlights danced across rows of seats. Models drifted backstage, and journalists murmured, scanning their notes. Nathan stood at the edge of the stage, Owen at his side, gripping the framed lighthouse sketch. "Today," Nathan began, voice steady, "we did more than showcase fashion. We shine a light on a crisis too many ignore." He lifted the sketch. "This drawing guided me home. Now, I want it to guide us all toward hope." A single hush fell. Crystal chandeliers glinted above. Nathan took a breath. "In this country, 1.5 million children experience homelessness every year," he continued, eyes sweeping the crowd. "Imagine a child clutching a small drawing, believing someone cares enough to find them." Owen's grip tightened around Nathan's hand. "Like you found me," he whispered, voice trembling. Nathan smiled at him. "Exactly. No child should survive alone on the streets or sell flowers or crafts to get by." He paused, letting the statistic land. A flash of cameras. Then he stepped forward. "That is why today," Nathan declared, "Brooks Fashion pledges to fund design workshops for homeless youth in 10 major cities." A ripple of applause. Journalists scribbled faster. Nathan gestured to Owen. "Owen will teach at our first program in Los Angeles, showing kids they can create something beautiful from nothing." Owen beamed. "I'll show them my favorite sketching tricks, Dad." Nathan's eyes glistened. We use fashion as a platform and art as a lifeline. Suddenly, a voice called from the audience. Mr. Brooks, how do you respond to critics who say this is a PR stunt? Nathan held up a single thread from his lapel. It was the yellow ribbon Owen tied to his jacket the day they met. This ribbon, Nathan said, is a promise, a pledge woven into every garment we produce now. This initiative isn't marketing, it's personal. He stepped off the stage, walking into the front row, drawing the crowd in. I know betrayal, he said, looking at the ribbon. I know loss, but I also know that one small act can start a movement. He guided Owen forward. My son taught me that. Now, together, we teach children they matter. The room erupted in applause. Nathan raised Owen's hand. Cameras flashed. Backstage, Nathan hugged Owen. You were amazing. Owen nodded, eyes bright. Can I still help with the designs tomorrow? Nathan laughed softly. You'll lead the first workshop. Outside, as they walked through the busy corridor, Nathan's phone vibrated. A text from Stella. Major donors confirmed. They believe you. Nathan exhaled in relief. Then he looked at Owen. We're really doing this. Later that night, in their tiny apartment, Nathan pinned the yellow ribbon to the fridge beside Owen's drawing. Owen traced the ribbon. Our symbol. Nathan kissed his son's forehead. A beacon of hope, always. He turned off the living room light. Owen's soft snores followed. Nathan stared at the ribbon in the dark, heart full. He whispered, We're just getting started. Nathan stood in the community center's bright classroom, walls lined with artwork, sewing machines humming softly. Owen sat at a table surrounded by eager faces, his sketchbook open. A cluster of children leaned in as he guided their hands over pencil lines. Draw the shirt you wish you could wear, Owen encouraged, voice steady. Use color to tell your story. A boy named Miguel held up his paper, a rough outline of a shirt splashed in reds and golds. This is for my grandma, he said, shy. She's my hero. Owen smiled. That's beautiful, Miguel. Nathan watched from the doorway, heart full. Months ago, he had arrived here thinking only of business. Now, piping steam from machines, patterns unfolding across tables, he saw something far more precious than profit. He crossed the room, kneeling beside Owen. Your first class as lead instructor, he said quietly, pride warming his tone. Owen glanced up, breath catching. Dad, I'm so happy. A hush fell as Nathan raised his hand. This shirt, he held up a pale blue tee, the same color as Owen's first sketch, was designed by someone brave enough to share their story. He tapped the fabric. It represents trust between us all. He walked to the front, lifting the shirt so everyone could see. I promise to fund these workshops until every child who draws hope can turn it into something real. Applause rippled. The symbol, the shirt, hung between them like a banner of redemption. Later, in the empty lot behind the center, Nathan and Owen unpacked boxes of fabric and scissors. Streetlights flickered as the wind carried late autumn's cool breath. Owen held a shirt he'd stitched that morning, its hem still rough. Look what I made, Dad. Nathan's eyes misted. It's perfect. He slipped the shirt onto a hanger. We'll give these to the kids who need them most. A car pulled up. Stella stepped out, waving a manila envelope. Nathan, donors have just tripled the budget. They were inspired by today's coverage. Nathan nodded. Thank you. He looked at Owen. We did this together. Owen grinned. Team Brooks. They shared a quick hug before turning back to stacks of fabric. The next morning, at City Hall, Nathan and Owen presented their program to local leaders. Reporters lined the steps, microphones extended. Fashion is more than clothes, Nathan told the council. It's a canvas for dreams. My son reminded me that no child should feel invisible. He glanced at Owen, standing tall beside him. Owen held up his illustrated shirt. Art can change lives, he said. The mayor stepped forward. Your initiative will help hundreds of kids this year. A reporter shouted, Why did you choose a homeless outreach? Nathan lifted the yellow ribbon pinned to his lapel, the same ribbon Owen tied around his sketch. Because one small symbol can spark a new beginning. That afternoon, at the renovated studio above the center, Nathan and Owen watched as children sewed seams, traced patterns, and laughed. Miguel slipped on his red and gold shirt, beaming. Thank you, the boy said to Owen. Owen knelt. You made it. I just showed you how. A sudden knock on the door. A social worker entered, holding a folder. Mr. Brooks, legal has approved full custody. Nathan's heart thundered. He exchanged a look with Owen, whose breath caught. Does this mean, Owen whispered, you can be my full-time dad? Nathan dropped to one knee, pulling Owen into an embrace. Yes, every day from now on. Later, at dusk, Nathan and Owen stood in the empty lot, now dotted with wildflowers. The wind tugged at the shirts on a clothesline, each one a child's design. Owen held the pale blue T once more. Our first symbol. Nathan folded his arm around Owen's shoulder. Our family's story in fabric and hope. They watched the sunset, shadows stretching, a new chapter unfolding beneath the golden sky.